you were saying that sentience, no, rights or moral consideration doesn't exist outside sentience, right?
Correct.
Okay, so would you say that
So
a non-sentient person or like a comatose would not be morally valuable?
well, no, because I don't think that would be outside of sentience. I think that would be connected to sentience. So that would be, especially based on our knowledge. So if somebody is in a comatose state, and they were sentient before they got in that state, and then we have good reason to think they will be out of that state, we could value their sentience that they will continue to have. But yeah, just to clear it up a little further, my point on there can't be anything to value without sentience would be if everything that was sentient in the world disappeared and the only thing left on Earth was rocks and water and different things that weren't sentient, then there would be nothing. There would be nothing to value anything because nothing could feel anything.
Well, let's. I'm gonna ask you that then. So you were saying that we, if we have a reasonable knowledge that comatose will regain sentience, then
Mm-hmm.
that's valuable. Would you not say that this is like potential for sentience?
Um, I, I wouldn't. I mean, I guess you can call that potential for sentience. So, for example, I believe I've heard that while you're sleeping, you're not technically sentient anymore. As far as your, because sentience means that you can perceive and you can feel. So I guess if you, while you were sleeping, if you were made to feel, like if somebody poked you with a tack, then your sentience would awaken you. But if you don't get awoken, then while you're asleep, I believe you're not sentient in that moment. And when you're and people in a coma are not sentient. So the difference is you don't lose your sentience as a person. You're still a person with the central nervous system, which is what gives you the ability to be sentient. You just aren't experiencing those things that make you sentient. So I would say the only thing that in
Okay.
my mind makes me value that the future of this person that's not sentient would be two things. So one is a want for the future. So I have a want for the future. I'm really excited about the things I'm going to do with my life. So if somebody violated my ability to do that by doing something to me while I was in a coma, like ending my life or something, then I don't like that. I can't do anything about it. I won't know anything about it. So I don't like that. And then the other thing would be anything that could be done to me that would affect me when I came out of the coma. So, like if somebody cut my foot off, if I was not going to come out of the coma, then the foot cutting off doesn't matter. I'm not going to regain sentience. So it really doesn't matter. Somebody could eat my foot. But if they cut my foot off and then I come out of the coma, I would say that that's something that we as humans should value and we should have it put into law that we can't randomly amputate people's body parts while they're in a coma if they are likely to come out of that
Like
coma.
some sort of implied consent or
Yeah.
okay. So this this person, when I'm trying to understand what you meant. Um, so this person, so you value it because there is a fundamental structures or genetic structures or biological structures that lead it to have sentience or something like that. Because that's what I actually value, like a fundamental structure or a
Mm-hmm.
final cause. Which it's a concept from metaphysics or from Aristotelian metaphysics that there's a fundamental structure that ultimately, uh, well, that is supposed to function in a certain way. So I want to make that distinction. If you consider this potential or like a final cause or a fundamental structure that gives value to the person, because
Mm.
potential is like uh, a consideration of the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, would you say that this comatose, we know, well, we know that they will not come back to sentience at all. There's no chance. So
Hmm.
would you be okay eating this person?
Eating
Yes or
them?
no? Well, killing them.
Killing them? Yeah. Yeah. I think that seems reasonable. If the
Okay.
professionals, like so doctors that have studied this and they know how to look at brain waves and they know a likelihood of coming back, it makes sense to me. I haven't thought to counter this idea that, and we got two things here. We got one is I don't think anybody necessarily deserves being kept alive or being saved. I care more about negative rights than I care about positive rights. So if you have a society capable of giving out positive rights, that's great and all. But I don't think anybody deserves to be saved. So if you have a machine that can keep somebody alive and professionals are deciding if they want to unplug the person because the resources being wasted aren't worth it based on their knowledge, that seems acceptable to me. And as far as the eating, I don't care about eating anything once it's dead. I can't. Yeah.
Okay. So only yes. Okay. So killing. Okay. So how do you? Because you at the end you were saying like resources or something like that. So it's not just the chances of the person being uh, re resentient.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of complicated. So yeah, if you know that there's chances of the person coming back and you're capable of keeping them on this life support, that seems nice to me. That seems worth doing. I would want people in my society, doctors and my family that can make choices. To keep me alive if there's a chance I was coming back. I don't think that's anything that's owed to me. So I guess I just don't have a strong thought on if I was drowning and somebody had to risk their life to save me, I don't think they should have to save me. So if people invent machines that can keep me alive and they do it, that's great. But I'm not owed those machines.
So so what is the right that we humans have, or the right to life? How do you describe it?
Okay, so I don't think there's any natural rights. I don't think we're born with anything where nature has any thoughts on rights. I think we have our own personal wants, and what's best for us is to form a society where we have laws and we basically just decide as a society what our rights should be, and we are afforded those rights through our government. So something like the right to free speech, I think it's very important to be part of a society where your government can't control your speech. So the government gives you this right. And then if you view something like protections, like negative rights, protections from death, I think that's a right because we are given that right by our government. So anybody that is going to kill somebody, they hopefully are going to be deterred not to kill somebody because of the punishment that comes in. So rights are given by law. And then aside from that, we individuals can give rights. So somebody legally in my country can kill a cow and eat it. And I can give a cow a right by saying I will not kill this cow. So I'm giving it this right. I'm personally giving it. So that's kind of how I view rights: is we can give personal afforded rights, or we can get our countries to create legal rights.
Okay, I think that the distinction between those two things, the rights that you're personally affording and the one by the government, or the yes, the government, I think that the first, that is personal, I think that's just a like a moral, like just your moral consideration of the animal. In the other, well, I view rights by, or morals by the government, which are rights, which like this these kinds of morals that are meant to create a morally functioning society.
Mhm.
If there were no rights, there would be no morally functioning society, and society would uh, go into chaos, and we would lose. all of society would lose dignity. I view it this way.
Yeah. Like for example, just to make sure we're on the same page, so I'm in the U.S. and back when slavery was allowed, this was a thing where the slaves did not have rights, and so those of us that wanted those of us, I wasn't there, but those that wanted the slaves to have rights were hoping that would be given by the government, and so a country at any point can have. Like right now, it's legal to circumcise your babies. I don't think you should. This is a moral right that I think every human should have to decide on their own when they're older. And so luckily with certain laws, there might not be chaos, and with other laws there might be chaos. But the hope would be that everybody can have conversations and share their ideas in hopes that when more people are interested in something changing, we can get our politicians to change it.
Okay, so do you think there should be some sort of society or societal morals that are meant to upkeep or upkeep society, or only, or could it function just with personal morals by each person?
I mean, really, I think so you can't make anybody have any specific morals. Some people think circumcision's okay and some don't. Some think eating animals is okay and some don't. So it really comes down to kind of a majority / whatever happens with politicians. I don't think the majority should control what happens, but I don't think a society should have something set where it never changes. I like the idea of people getting elected to represent different areas, and as time goes by, people change what they do. Like if you look back throughout all of history, you got people burning witches. At those times, they thought the witches were the bad people and they were doing the right thing. You had human sacrifices, slavery, all these things. So I think it's an ongoing change, and we have to use reason to explain why we should all be in favor of what seems to be moral.
And do you think we can get to a final reason or a finalized version?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think it'll be easy for everybody to get on board. It's really hard to know how humans think in general. A lot of our species seems to have evolved to go with the flow, to just like have your group of people that you follow what they do. And so can we get everybody to reason at some point? I don't know, but it seems like if you look through history, we are constantly getting better at figuring out ways to do things, I guess. So let's take animal treatment, for example. I think it's fair to point out that if somebody wants to just stab a dog and make it suffer, that should be illegal. And I think most people would agree with that. And I think if we had more conversations where people could see what happens to animals in factory farms, I think even meat eaters would want to regulate these things. And so as soon as you can convince somebody of something important, I think change can be made. So if you make rules that chickens can't be crammed in a tiny cage all day long, I think the majority of people would want this change, but it would take conversations to make it happen. But something bigger, like getting people to not consume animals, you would have to be able to convince them that they don't think it's necessary for them. And that's just a bigger feat because that would take studies and so on.
So do you think these rights that we are giving to, these rights do not make animals suffer? Is it a right for humans or a right for animals?
Well, so the
Because
something being moral or immoral, I think, is connected to your ability to have pleasure or displeasure. So outside of a possible argument that animals, some people think that animals aren't having suffering or pain, they're just reacting to stimuli. Outside of that idea that I find to be silly, I think it can be clear that animals and immoral things happening, whether we can justify it or not. So if I'm on an island and I kill a chicken to eat it because I'm starving, then that's how I'm justifying it. It doesn't make it not immoral, and the more it suffered, the more immoral it is. But as far as rights go, I think humans deciding their rights for their society, every human right can be decided without morals. We don't need morals. We just need to recognize mutual benefit. Everything that humans, on average, want or don't want, we can afford to each other. You don't kill me, I don't kill you. You don't steal from me, I don't steal from you. We have this mutual benefit where if we have this set of rules, it's perfectly reasonable that the rules we should follow you don't have to care that they also are connected to morals. Killing somebody could be immoral, but you don't need that connected to a law. Now, with animals, you can't make a mutual benefit rule. You can't say to the lion, if you don't kill me, I won't kill you, because they can't reason with us. They'll just kill us anyways. So with animals, in a society, if a society is advanced enough to treat others well, then you can make laws based on morals. So a dog's not going to agree to not bite us, but it's illegal to stab a dog for fun because we make that law based on morals.